that he would call away to the bedside of a friend who's very ill. He sent me these flowers. It's a good thing he did. I don't approve of young men who refuse dinner invitations at the very last minute.
Well, take the box and paper, Mrs. Pringle.
Oh, it's such a shame after you've said it all so beautifully. And it is getting late. Well, someone could be here at any minute. How's Cook?
Oh, Cook's in a temper, as always, madam.
Oh, I'm so glad to hear it. She's like an actress. The better the temper, the better the performance. I don't care how much she swears. The rest of you can stay out of her way as long as she serves us a good dinner. Where is Gustav?
I'm sorry to say it, madam, but there's such an awful blizzard outside. He's sweeping off the sidewalk.
Oh, dear me, yes. I should have ordered an awning, but who expected a storm like this?
Here are your place cards, Mother, and the diagram. Do you want me to put them around?
Yes, dear. Elaine, I'm going up to check in on your father. He's so helpless about his ties. Remove one plate, Dunham.
Remove one plate, madam. Oh, it is a certainty you wouldn't sit down to 13.
13? Oh, I guess you're right. 13. Oh, we could never sit down to 13. Oh, this is all Mr. Harper's fault. Sick friend, nothing. He's just one of those careless men who never answers their invitations in time. His flowers indeed to make me forgive him. Oh, now what will I do? Look at the trouble he's put me to. 13. Oh, I wonder who I could get to come at the last minute. Elaine, help me think.
There's always Uncle George.
He never opens his head.
Mr. Morgan, he always tells a joke or two.
Oh, yes, Dunham, that's very clever of you. Hello? Hello, Central? Yes, Lakeview 5971. At once, please. Oh, Elaine, dear. Elaine, your hair is much too tight. Pull it out. Pull it. Oh, come here. Mr. Morgans? Yes, this is Mrs. Pringle speaking from across the street. Yes. When Mr. Morgan comes in, tell him to call me up right away. I want him to dine with us this evening. Yes, in about 10 minutes. You expect him? Have him call me right away. Now, if he shouldn't get it, then what'll I do?
Well, I don't have to sit at the table, Mother. This is your party. Everyone there's going to be already married and older than I am.
Didn't I put you right next to Mr. Farnsworth? Millions! He's worth millions!
It's not like he'll be giving me any.
Can't he marry you? Don't you want to make a good match for yourself? I fling every eligible man I can at your head. Can't you finish the rest yourself?
It's no use, Mother, you trying to marry me off to someone as important as he is. He frightens me to death. I always lose my tongue. I am more afraid of him than I would be of the Prince of Wales.
The Prince of Wales? Oh, what wouldn't I give to have the Prince of Wales in my house? New York has lost its heart to him. I was just telling Mr. Farnsworth yesterday that I would give anything to have the prince here. Oh, I would establish my social position for life and have such a reputation for being a wonderful hostess. Oh, dear me, the phone. Hello? Mrs. Stadrick. Yes, this is Mrs. Pringle. What? No. Oh! Stuck in a snowdrift? Can't get another car? Oh, good. The widow can't make it. Remove 2 plates, Dunham. That leaves us 12. Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, of course. Oh, but how will we get along without you? Have you really tried? Oh, I am reduced to tears. Oh, goodbye, dear. Oh, well, good. I'm glad she dropped out. Central, get me Lakewood 5971. Dunham, with 2 less, we can save 2 cocktails and at least 4 glasses of champagne. Has Mr. Morgan come in yet? Well, don't give him the message that I telephoned before about crossing the street to Mrs. Pringle's for dinner. It's too late. You understand? Well, at least I have invited Clem, returned my indebtedness, and saved my champagne besides.
The liquor is getting low, madam, what with prohibition and all the entertaining.
Mother, if we're only 12 guests, Father can't sit at the head of the table.
But Father has to sit at the head. It looks too undignified when the man of the house is pushed to the side.
There is no other way. There has to be a woman on both ends.
Oh, how absurd. Oh, I always forget. Of course 14 impossible number. I mean, 12 is an impossible number. 14 is a perfect number. But I don't want to put any of these women at the head. There's Mrs. Darby, such a cat. I would not give her the honor. And then Mrs. Oh, answer it, Dunham. No.
Hello, Mrs. Pringle's residence. A message, yes, sir. What, sir? Mr. Darby? The doctor says your baby has the chicken pox.
Chicken pox, Elaine?
Mother?
Oh, yes, sir. Oh, Mr. and Mrs. Darby send their regrets. They are obliged to apologize owing to the transmutability of the disease, and also their house guests, Mr. and Mrs. Fleetwood.
That's 4 out.
That makes us only 8? Quick, Dunham the plates.
Oh, but don't I know anyone to invite at the very last minute?
The Hatwoods.
Oh, they don't serve drinks when they entertain. I can't afford to invite them to drink mine.
The Greens.
He's not interesting enough.
Mr. Conley.
He never returns a dinner invitation, even after all the times I've invited him.
Hester Longley.
Not at the same table with you and Oliver Farnsworth. She's far too pretty, too clever.
Where is our book? The Tuppers.
Tuppers, good heavens, Elaine, 6 in the family.
Which would bring us back to 14, and Father can sit at the head of the table.
Oh, we'll try them. I'll rush and tell your father to hold up the drawing room.
Yes, Ridgeway 9325. Hello, this is Elaine Pringle. What Tupper am I speaking to? Oh, Ella, hello. I hope you haven't finished eating dinner yet. Mother and I have arranged for a get-together, and at the last moment, everyone's been dropping out. The blizzard. Couldn't you flock your family around the corner and have dinner with us? Oh, you would? That's fine. 6 more plates, Dunham. What? Oh. Well. Dunham, get Mother quick! That's just fine. Yes, absolutely. Why, certainly. Love it. Yes, dear. All right. Oh, good Caesar, what have I done now?
What is it, Elaine? What's happening?
I couldn't get out of it. I just couldn't. You weren't here, and I lost my tongue, and I totally bungled things.
What is it? Don't keep us waiting. What is happening?
I asked Ella and the family if they could come, and they said she could, and that they had house guests, and would that be all right? And I said it would, and now we're 16!
16? But madam, the table's not that long.
Oh, Elaine, that's just like you. No tact, no worldly wisdom. If I had been at the phone, I would have politely said that.
But you weren't. You really ought to deal with these messages yourself, Mother. You know, I always lose my head and bungle things.
But the dishes, madam, and there are only 14 squabs.
I won't eat any.
Be disgraced. We will have to make the best of it and insert another board.
Mother, I needn't sit at the table.
You were going to sit right next to Oliver Farnsworth. Now I don't wish to hear another word about it.
But isn't there a way that we could put everyone in without inserting another board? What if I squeezed all the chairs and plates together?
Have you forgotten that Mr. Tupper weighs something like 250 pounds and Mrs. Connolly has no waistline? It can't be done.
What's the rage, madam? She says she's only prepared for 14.
I can't help it. She'll have to prepare for 16. Tell her to open some cans of vegetables and soup.
But the ice cream forms of a gelatine mold.
I'll pretend I don't like them.
And I'll pretend I'm on a diet.
But again, I don't have to sit at the table.
Be still! Oh, don't answer it! It's driving me mad! Hello? Yes? Oh, This is Mrs. Pringle. Yes, Jessica. Oh, you're cold? The blizzard? Too dangerous? Oh, yes. Yes, your husband is quite right. It would be foolhardy. Oh, I'm so sorry, my dear. Ooh, go to take a hot bath and put on a mustard plaster and a hot toddy. Go to bed, dear. I'm so sorry. Isn't that wonderful? Now we are just 14.
But all the nameplates are wrong. There's only 6 that were originally invited that are still coming. You'll have to make a brand new diagram. How do you want them seated?
Give it to me.
Here are some fresh cards.
What a mess. I spent hours over this diagram. So much depends upon having your guests seated harmoniously. Oh, that's the front doorbell, Dunham. I told Annie to get it for you, but go and peek into the drawing room and let me know who it is. Oh, you murderous instrument! Oh! Ah, what have you to say? Now what? Ugh. Hello? Mr. Farnsworth. Mr. Oliver Farnsworth? No, you're his secretary. What? Instructed you to make his excuses? He had to leave for Boston at once on important business? Oh, how dare he? How dare he? And at the last minute like this. No respect for a hostess's feelings, no regard for how much energy it takes to put together an evening's enjoyment. And such a good dinner I had planned. He was my most important guest, and now he's not coming. Business. I don't believe it. He didn't want to exert himself, was afraid of freezing in the blizzard, as if he didn't have half a dozen limousines to carry him to the front door. I'm furious. I'll never speak to him again. I won't be treated this way.
Perhaps he really did have business and was called away.
And I, one of the most important hostesses in this city. People clamoring to receive my invitations. All my affairs are successes. I insist that they should be. I won't have a failure. I can't have a failure. Oh, he was my most important guest. He's such a man's man. So important financially. Every man considers it an honor to meet him. Now not coming. Why, Yuri is always all this damnable blizzard.
I can't sit at the table now. His not coming brings us back to 13.
Go to bed, go up to the nursery. I certainly won't sit down to 13. I will send you milk and cookies.
Well, it's not my fault. Business called him away.
Yes, it is. If you wouldn't be so timid and exert yourself and make something of yourself, he would have heard about your attractions from other men, and then he would be curious to meet you himself. What a family I have. No one's happy with my ambition. Go to bed. I certainly won't sit down to 13. Oh, get out of my sight.
It was Mr. Morgan, madam.
Mr. Morgan, but I called his maid and told him not to come.
Well, he can't have received your second message, for I just overheard him talking to Mr. Pringle about how happy he was to have received your telephone invitation.
Which brings you back to 13, unless you don't want me to go to bed.
Of course I don't want you to go to bed. We're 14 after all. Back where we started, Dunham.
Well, then I'll just make the cocktails. And he said there are several motors making their way through the snow, and the cook swearing about the dinner being too dry. And
Oh, I won't answer it.
Oh, I should say not. Hello, what is it? Mrs. Tupper? Yes, Mrs. Tupper. Oh, yes, well, we're all prepared for you. Yes, for 8 of you. Your daughter told my daughter about your house guests, and we're delighted to have them. But now we're all set for you. Every plate is set. Oh, but now you must come. Oh, but of course your daughter was quite right. It wasn't an imposition. Oh, yes, yes, my daughter had the authority to invite the guests. 8 isn't a large number at all. Oh, but I beg of you, it's not an imposition. Oh, how foolish of you to take that stand. Oh, my dear, what do you think of that? Mrs. Tupper is perfectly furious at Ella for telling you about the house guest. She says, Ella has no tact, and that nothing could induce her to bring 8 when we had invited 6. So, Emma and Henry are staying at home. Remove 2 plates, Dunham. We are 12 after all.
But if we're 12, Father can't sit at the head of the table.
I shall go mad! I'm never entertaining again. Never, never. People ought to know whether they are coming or not, but they accept and reject and accept. Oh, they drive me wild. This is my last dinner party. My very last. A fiasco, an utter fiasco. A haphazard crowd hurried together after I planned everything so beautifully. Now, where shall I seat them? Where shall I seat them? If I put Mr. Tupper here, then Mrs. Connolly there, then Mrs. Tupper has to sit next to her husband. And if I want Mr. Morgan there, oh, it's impossible. I might as well just put their names in a hat and draw them out at random. Oh! I am through with society, with parties, with friends. I wipe my slate clean. After this, I am going to be selfish and hard and live for myself and drink my alcohol myself instead of offering it gratis to the whole town. I am through with men like Oliver Farnsworth. They don't care how rich they are, how important they are, how influential they are. They are nothing without courtesy and consideration. Business, off on a train. He didn't want to come. He didn't want to meet a sweet, pretty girl. He didn't want to marry her. Well, he's not good enough for you. Don't you marry him. Don't you dare marry him. I won't let you marry him. Do you hear me? If you were to elope and run away or something like that, I would stop it. I would. Oliver Farnsworth will never get recognition from me. He is beneath my notice. I hate Oliver Farnsworth!
A note from Mr. Farnsworth, madam.
Note from Mr. Farnsworth.
Yes, madam, there are 2 strange gentlemen in the lower hall. They presented this letter. He said he was the secretary, and all the other guests are here in the drawing room. I counted 12 in total, including yourself and Mr. Pringle and Miss Elaine. But the 2 gentlemen downstairs are waiting for your answer. And one of the gentlemen's faces looked quite familiar. I just can't quite remember where, but I know I've seen him somewhere before.
Seen him somewhere before. Oh my goodness, Elaine. It's the Prince of Wales.
Yes, the secretary said that you cut off the line or Central disconnected you, but he was about to tell you that Mr. Farnsworth knew that the blizzard had prevented His Highness from keeping an engagement way uptown.
The Prince of Wales is sitting in my lower hall waiting for me to ask him to dinner.
Doesn't this bring us back to 13?
Nope. There's the secretary, madam. He is his bodyguard.
Certainly, Elaine, the secretary. Oh, serve the cocktails, Dunham. We will be 14 at dinner. The guests may sit anywhere they choose. I shall bring the prince in with me.
Good mother, wasn't it kind of Mr. Farnsworth to send a prince in his place?
Oh, haven't I always said that Mr. Farnsworth is the most considerate of men?
I think I shall like Mr. Farnsworth.
Oh, silly child, it's too late to like Mr. Farnsworth. It's time now to like the prince. I always manage somehow to be the most successful of hostesses. Oh, thank God for the blizzard.